My wife of 36 told me, I'm 39, about a month ago, she didn't want to be with me anymore after 5 years married and 15 years together. I won't go into the ins and outs of the marriage, but we have two kids, 3 and 6. We had been arguing about having a third child for over a year. I am against and she is in favor. Yes, we have usual marital issues, but overall I was happy. After a few days of arguing and confusion, she confessed she had been messaging someone else and clearly intended to explore this. Despite seeing how angry and hurt I was, she carried on down that path, to the point where she bought a fold out bed to sleep away from me. Not long after, and before her inevitable cheating, we ended up sleeping together. Again, I'll spare you the details, and we spent a good few days together. But all I could get from her when questioning the situation was, I don't know. We had some time apart, living in the same house, as neither of us are in a position to move out of the family home, doing our own thing, but both still there for the kids. She admitted to me that she told the other person about us having sex, and he wasn't happy and was keeping his distance while she figured things out. Cut to a week later, and she comes home asking to give it another go. This took me by surprise as I was on the path to acceptance. I knew the road ahead wasn't going to be short or easy, but I wasn't feeling as anxious and depressed about the whole situation. We had a good week and had a lot of sex. Sorry for the overshare. But I still couldn't make sense of anything. So after repeated questioning and trusting my gut, she came clean. I need to make it clear up to this point. She kept telling me the other situation wasn't to the extent I would think, and that he had been keeping his distance. Turns out my gut was correct. She finally confessed to a horrible night with him, where she booked a hotel for them. He turned up, spent a short while there, and then left her to deal with her issues. Obviously, this wasn't the magical experience she wanted, and decided option number two was best. I was very angry about the whole thing and that I'd been duped into sex thinking it wasn't that bad and we could work on things. Throughout all of this, I just wanted to keep the family together and not lose the person I thought was my best friend. We have been up and down for the 2 weeks after this. She'd had no contact with him and has blocked him, but she still wouldn't give me any straight answers on what was happening and why it happened, other than we can make it work. I feel I've taken 5 steps back and can't see a way to ever get past this and don't want to be with her anymore. We are pretty much stuck right now due to our financial situation and don't see a way out right now. I don't want to get comfortable while we are stuck sharing the house and end up giving her another chance. I know ending it would be for the best, but how do you end it and live together? This is long, but I've tried to not go into too much details, but get the main issues across. Any advice from anyone who has come through something like this? I still feel so shitty about entertaining and seeking validation from another girl. I was 16 at the time this happened, and ever since I haven't done anything like this again. Me and my partner have been in a long distance relationship for 4 years now. She lives across the world and I live in the US, and I just feel like I disrespected her and betrayed her. I told her what I did not in full detail since I hadn't thought it through and was just trying to get it off my chest. I want to add that my partner is the only girl I've been with physically. Long story short, she forgave me and told me she didn't mind since I never reciprocated any feeling towards them or didn't say any words of endearment to them, which is completely true. I never told this girl I loved, nor did I call her cute or beautiful or anything of sorts. But I would take her flirting and her compliments. There was one instance where she sent me a picture of her room, and in return, I sent her a Pinterest picture of a aesthetic bedroom, and even made stupid jokes saying, "Want to come over and check it out?" It was a stupid comment. I don't remember her response, but her coming over never happened. Not only because I said it with no ill intent behind it, but because I literally was sleeping in my living room. Anyways, me and this person developed a very sub-level friendship where she only knew me on a sub-level. I never told this person anything about my personal life nor my problems, and we only talked during lunch and saw each other during lunch, where we shared a lunch table with friends. She would also flirt with a lot of people in this lunch table. and I wasn't short of it. We would text after school almost every day. She would tell me about her problems, where the most endearing thing I said to her was, "You mean a lot to me," which I said to show her support since she was going through some things. At the end, her comments and flirts got really serious to where I had a growing question in my head, which was, does she want to go out with me? So I did the stupidest thing I could think of. I asked her, she said she would think about it, which I'm stupid to not have stopped her from doing so. I followed up a couple days later and asked what she thought, since it was stuck in my head, and she denied which was the answer I was looking for. She ended up distancing herself, and I did so as well. I ended up leaving school completely. And since I barely even went anyways, and we stopped talking since then, she ended up moving away, which I wished her luck in her new school. And since then, I haven't had any sort of communication with this person. I got a new phone, and that was it. I still feel guilty about this whole situation, and it's been affecting my mental health to another level. I have apologized several times to my partner, and I'm trying to do better for her. I just can't seem to shake this feeling of regret and disgust off of me. I don't deserve my partner, and I feel like a disloyal piece of shit. I'm also getting constant panic attacks that are caused by the thought of losing my partner. I feel like a monster, and I think I'll continue to feel like this for a long time. My 26M girlfriend, 24F, dropped out of college on the middle of her second year and is still in the trying to figure out her life phase. I admit I don't really know how to treat that, since my parents has always been very strict about taking as many AP classes as we can until the age of 16, 10th grade, so that we will be able to do what we want and to come to them the summer before 11th grade with a plan that details every class we will take to get us to the degree that we want and a general plan of what we want to do before getting the degree, while getting the degree, and after getting the degree. My girlfriend never really understood my parents doing that since her parents never really cared as long as she's happy and surviving. And while it took me some time to understand as well, seeing as me and my sibling are all very successful, I'm thankful for that. The problem started a few days ago, 5 months into our relationship. When she officially met my family, she has seen my sister a couple of times when she came to crash at my place because she needed quiet to study. She's in her last year of medical school, but they didn't really talk much. Both of my parents are lawyers, and our house is very fancy and always look put together and like no one lives there, since they have meetings there sometimes. Next to my girlfriend house that always look homey and very lived in, she was rightfully a little freaked out. By the end of the night, I could see that my girlfriend finally understood just how different our upbringing were. I drove her home after, and before she got out of my car, she asked me to not make her go to my parents' house anymore. I asked her why, because while I had a clue, I didn't want to make assumptions. She said that it freaks her out and wouldn't elaborate. I pushed a little, and she kind of snapped that it makes her look bad and feel like she's not good enough for me. This is edited because I was copying it from somewhere else, and this paragraph was deleted. I was shocked. I told her that just because my parents have more money than her, it doesn't matter, and that she makes enough money to live comfortably and be happy. And that's all I want from a partner. She told me that it's not just that, it's my all family. My brother's a surgeon, my sister wants to be an anesthesiologist, and I work in the biggest bank in the country. We all make, or going to make in my sister case, her yearly salary in a month. It's an exaggeration, and that she doesn't know if she can live feeling like that. I was mad at that point and told her that it's my fault that she decided to drop out of college and now can't get her life together. It's not true. She has an amazing life, and I know that, but I was so mad that I didn't notice, well, what I was saying. She didn't say anything and just walked out. I feel really bad, but also like I was justified by reaching like that. She was taken bad about the way my parents raised me, and I will always protect my parents against everything. I, 28F, have a 4-month-old German Shepherd puppy. For context, our family dog was of the same breed, and we raised him from when he was 2 months old. Unfortunately, he passed 2 years ago. Last month, I had to go to work in person out of the blue. I got very little notice, so I called up my mom and asked her if she could take care of the puppy for me. She agreed and he came over. I told her he was unvaccinated and be careful. I went to work. I messaged her every now and then to ask how they were doing, and she responded with a thumbs up emoji every time. I came back to an empty house and panicked, thinking something had happened to both of them, or there was an emergency and they had to go to the vet. I called her and she didn't pick up. Her phone was switched off. I went over to my neighbors and asked them if they knew anything, and they said they had seen my mom taking the puppy out on a leash. I started walking to the nearby public park, and what do you know? My mom's there with the puppy and like two other dogs. I went over and asked her why she didn't pick up, and she laughed and said her phone was dead because she was too busy with the puppy to charge it. When we got home, I asked her why she took him outside, that I told her not to. She said I never explicitly told her not to take him outside and turned it around on me. This is how you repay a favor. And said the puppy looked antsy, being all cooped up in the house. I have a substantial backyard. I left it at that, and the next day, took puppy to the vet. All was clear at the time, but 4 days later, the puppy started showing symptoms, and turns out he caught parvo. The poor thing went through a lot, but he's been all right for a week now. A couple days ago, I left him with a sitter to attend the fam's Easter celebration. And to note at this point, I hadn't communicated with my mom since the day of. My cousin asked me how the puppy was doing, and I told her the whole thing. Word got around, and now people are condemning my mom for her actions, and honestly, I couldn't care less. Mom called me today and demanded I make things clear with other people, and that it wasn't her fault my puppy fell sick and could have died. I asked for an apology because even if she didn't mean for it to happen, the puppy did suffer. She declined, I blocked her. Aita. Edit. A lot of confusion about the timeline. I got my puppy at 10 weeks old. He was unvaccinated. I took him to the vet, and at 12 weeks, when my mom came to dog sit, he was due for his second round. He is currently 4 months old and vaccinated. Edit #2. The reason I thought he's unvaxxed, be careful, was enough, is that our family dog was not allowed in public spaces until he was 4.5 months old and fully vaccinated. Socialization was done in a safe and controlled environment. I assumed my mom would understand similar rules followed in this situation. Additionally, I had 10 minutes between mom's arrival and my departure, so I could barely explain the pup's schedule and where everything was. Edit #3, last edit. Few things I'd like to address. I blocked mom after telling her he caught parvo, after a conversation where she did not once ask of his well-being, as she refused to acknowledge fault, and I couldn't deal with her along with the stress and taking care of pup. I unblocked her later, but told her not to contact me without an apology. Puppy was in the ICU for days and in the hospital for a whole week. I also had to hire a service to disinfect and deep clean my house.